I'm a mad scientist and I am hard at work here. Sure, I've got a couple of days of thinking and scratching my head and building linkages and things, but I'm having a good time. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna first of all straighten this thing out a little bit. I'm gonna put a bend here, put a 90 here and another 90 to get this away from the driveline flange. Then I'm gonna heat this end up and beat something similar to the nut size in to give it an indentation to blow that out a little bit so that I can get this little pilot on the end of the nut to stick in there. That way I get it on there nice and straight. I'll weld the nut to my round stock here, not round stock, round tube. And then this linkage will thread right on to my shaft, hook my shifter linkage to a rod to this, pull it in and out of high-low. No big deal. This should work very good. I just need to find something similar in size to that nut. I'm going to reshape this piece of metal and turn it into a linkage. Now I'm going to heat this up red hot on the end, and I'm going to take this meat hook, this gambrel, and I'm going to beat it in there and kind of wedge it in there and bevel this end out. Make room for my nut. Got it nice and red.
You know what?
What happened, buddy?
What are you doing?
Shaping this metal.
Why do you have glasses on?
So I can use my torch. Just tap it in.
Huh?
Just gonna tap this nut in.
Oh, Jimmy, what is this lever for?
What makes it fly?
Huh?
That's the one that makes it fly.
Can you show me if you plan it?
Do you want to fly?
Yeah?
All right.
You're done doing that, can you pull it? You never really fly, but I climbed in a tree.
You don't think my four-wheeler can fly?
I climbed in a tree, but I think for it was too dry.
Now hopefully the threads still work.
How do you weld with that other welder?
That's a torch. The torch usually cuts. It cuts or it heats. And the welder glues metal together. It melts metal and glues it together. Turns two pieces of metal into one piece of metal. So I took that steel nut and I welded it to my steel tube, and now they're one piece. You couldn't break them apart if you tried. Even the Hulk couldn't break my weld.
You know what?
Yes? Okay, there she is. Let's see what happens. Does my nut still work? Hope so, because I don't have a metric tap. So just like that, it's a little bit close to the drive shaft, but I put that bend in there to keep it away. If I put my linkage over here, it's probably 2 inches from the drive line. It'll be okay. And push the linkage in. Oh wait, it's in, so it's in high range, pushed in, and then we pull it out. Low range. All right, check this out. Linkage goes through my cover, threads on to the shaft, bolt the cover up, high gear, low gear. High gear, low gear. Ta-da! I converted my air shift transfer case to a manual shift. High-low anyway. Next, to tackle the front end disengage. It'll be similar. Not sure that it'll be the same. There's a big piston in there. I'm going to try and take it out and see if there's something I can thread to. I don't think there is. I'm going to make something. I might just make something that pushes off of the cover. Not exactly sure. All I've got to do is figure out a seal for this. Shouldn't be that big of a deal. And that's a done deal there. Alright, so this one's a little bit different. This piston slides into a fork, and then it's got a spring on the end that keeps it pushed out, so it's disengaged when you take the air pressure off. When you put air pressure to this piston, pushes the spring in and pushes the fork in, which engages the front axle full time. I don't have anything to work off of in here without this, and also I need to locate the fork with this. Without it, the fork's in there jiggling around, no good. So what I'm gonna do is, this whole thing's one piece and it's steel. I'm gonna drill a hole in the center of it. I'm gonna tap it. Then I can build a linkage that'll come through my cover, drill a hole in the cover. My linkage will thread into the piston, and I'll be able to push it in to engage the front, pull it out. The only thing, it's going to be spring loaded, so it won't work like a regular four-wheel linkage. When you put it in, it won't stay in. So I have to put like a PTO lever inside the truck, where when I push it in, you slide it over and it locks forward. I don't see any issue with that. It's not a ton of pressure. It might take 5 pounds of pressure to push that spring, something like that. I could do it with my thumb. I think I could do it with a big linkage. All right, so that's my plan. Drill and tap a hole in this. Now the hardest part about this is trying to keep the damn thing straight. The second hardest part is trying not to break your tap, because they don't give you 2 of each size when you buy a set. You only get. Now we can move along. We're going to cut this bolt off. Add a piece of tubing that's going to slide through the case. Put a little fold on it, put an ear on it, put a mount on it for a bolt, and we'll have our second linkage. In and out, in and out, in and out. All right. All right, I'm working on the front output. The front, I am now working on converting the front wheel drive locker. I've made this jig out of a piece of wood and some screws to mount my cap so that I can drill a hole in the center of it for my shaft to go through. Hopefully this works. Alright, so there's my next linkage. I think so, not now. So that's it there. We pull it out. Nope, I mean we push it in. Give it a little tap. So now we're in. Four-wheel drive's locked up. Pull my linkage out. That only took me 3 days. And just like that, I've turned this airshift transfer case into a manual shift. It's time to haul this heavy thing over there and put it up under the truck. Things will start to get exciting.